And thanks once again for honoring our invitation. We call this press conference specifically to address the issue of insecurity, with particular reference to the role of Boko Haram and the Islamic State in West Africa. Also, so that we can highlight what the military is doing in this regard, and also to rally support for the gallant men and women who are making all necessary sacrifices to keep us safe. As you will have noticed, Boko Haram and the ISWAP have recently changed their strategy. In the wake of their ceaseless pounding by the military, at its peak, Boko Haram, you remember in particular, was a fighting force, conquering and keeping territories, installing and imposing emirs, and also collecting taxes. He then had the capability and capacity to take the battle to many states, mostly in the north, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, where it bombed the police headquarters, the UN complex, shopping complex, and even motor parks here in Abuja. Upon assumption of office on May 29, 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari directed the Command and Control Center to relocate from Abuja to Maiduguri and rally support of our neighbors as well as the international community. This yielded immediate results, as Boko Haram was not only decimated, but all the territory under its control was recovered. The insurgents also lost the capability to carry out the kind of spectacular attacks they were used to, and then resorted to attacking soft targets, including churches and mosques, as well as schools. You may wish to recall that Boko Haram insurgents didn't use to discriminate between Christians and Muslims when they carried out their attacks in the past. Churches and mosques, Christians and Muslims were attacked without discrimination. When they targeted motor parks, the religion, gender, ethnicity, or political leaning of the victims didn't matter to them, as long as they inflicted the maximum damage to lives and property. But in the wake of a renewed onslaught by tireless military against Boko Haram and their ISWAP allies in recent times, the insurgents have apparently changed their strategy. They have started targeting Christians and Christian villages for a specific reason, which is to trigger a religious war and throw the nation into chaos. Apparently, they have realized how emotive and divisive religion can be when exploited by unscrupulous persons. Lest I am misunderstood, let me repeat. The insurgents who delude themselves as Muslims, whereas they are nothing more than bloodthirsty, rapacious killers who subscribe to no religion, have recently started targeting Christians with a view to sowing the seed of confusion and discord between the two great religions. This is not to say that they have stopped attacking Muslims, but they seem to now have a deliberate policy of attacking Christians. The attack on a Christian village, Korangulume, near Chibok, the killing of the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, the late Lawan Andimi, in Michika local government in Adamawa State, the killing of Roville Dacia Dalep, a student who was also a member of the Church of Christ in Nations, cousin, and the killing of 11 Christians on Christmas Eve fit into this new strategy. Some have misinterpreted this to insinuate a systematic campaign to persecute Christians in Nigeria. This is absurd and very unfair to the men and women who are daily battling the insurgents. These men and women are both Christians and Muslims. The truth is that having run out of options in their battle against Nigeria, the insurgents are desperate to stay relevant, to stay in the news, hence their cowardly and senseless strategy targeting Christians as part of their increasing resort to the use of guerrilla tactics. We want to therefore appeal to our religious leaders, both Christians and Muslims, not to fall for this desperate move by the insurgents. We appeal to them not to allow them to divide us as a people and weaken our resolve to deal decisively with the insurgents. In addition, we must also give our unallied support to the military, which has also upped the ante against the insurgents. The resort to the increasing use of guerrilla tactics by the insurgents is a sign of weakness on their part. Contrary to the belief in certain quarters, these insurgents are getting weakened by the day. Most times, they are very hungry, and they go there to loot food stores and loot, food stalls, thanks to the gallantry of our men and women in uniform. The renewed vigor by the military in their war against the insurgents is paying off handsomely, judging by the victories we have recorded in recent times. This includes the killing of top ISWAP leaders at 2 separate meeting venues at Mate local government in Borno State a few days ago. A similarly successful attack against the leadership of Boko Haram in Alafa Yagayaga in Borno State earlier this month. It also includes the killing of the Boko Haram chief judge in Lake Chad. The infighting in the leadership cadre of Boko Haram is a fallout of the pressure on the insurgents by the military. The continued falling by the military of many attacks by Boko Haram is part of our success, and the continued decimation of the insurgents across the entire Northeast. Also, the inability of the insurgents to hold any territory or carry out the kind of spectacular attacks they used to carry out in the past. These are signs that we are winning the war. Apart from fighting insurgents, please note that the military also continue to carry out development programs in the Northeast as part of efforts to win the hearts and minds of the populace, because we believe that this war will be won not just by kinetic but also by the soft approach. The military is currently engaged in road and bridge construction and repair, provision of potable water in all these territories, scanning of roads and highways to detect planted IEDs and keep the roads safe. They even take upon themselves teaching in schools where there's shortage of teachers. They have medical outreaches. They provide educational materials, including books. And they also work with civilians to ensure that things are in order in many towns and villages. In conclusion, we want to once again appeal to our leaders, especially religious leaders, not to fall for the antics of Boko Haram and ISWAP, who are trying to divide us along religious lines by targeting Christians for attacks. This is the last desperate move by a decimated and disillusioned band of killers and psychopaths to stay relevant amid constant decimation by our gallant troops. We have what it takes to come together and foil this divisive and satanic strategy. We appeal to Nigerians to support the military as it moves to decapitate the insurgents. Second-guessing the military at this time is like playing into the hands of Boko Haram. Gentlemen, I thank you for your very kind attention.